Now here, to show my dedication to science, this is my last bag of coffee. And I blew it up with air just so that we could look at the interaction of the coffee granules with the sugar granules which are in there. And here we have some transmitted light going through. And this is the coffee with the sugar. And I chose coffee and sugar because the sugar grains have a different dielectric than the coffee grains do. And look how quickly you get these agglomerates forming. And obviously, going on in here, it's a plastic bag. You got friction at the side when I shake it. There's charge forces involved with these particles. There's also particle agglomeration, or just the propensity of particles to stick together once they collide. So you get a combination of charge force and these particle agglomerations, and you end up with these structures. And when I first saw this, it almost looked like it was some kind of a fish bowl with little tiny fishes swimming around in it. It kind of reminded me when I was a kid and I mail ordered from the back of a comic book, I mail ordered these sea monkeys. And this is actually more interesting to watch than the sea monkeys were. But you can see the particles moving around due to absorbed static charge. And they're moving in different directions. They'll touch the wall, and when one particle impacts on the wall, it'll stick. But maybe another particle will, within some radius away from the one that just arrived, that particle will jump off and move off in a different direction. And the dynamics of what's going on in here gets rather involved. Now you can see that big cluster moving. Look at that. I think we have the answers to many of the questions for the formation of our universe, all seen here in our bag of tea. Now here's that same sequence played back on fast forward, so you can see the motion of the particles in greater detail here, just because it's being played back fast. Now here I've got a flask, a 250 milliliter flask filled with water, and in the water are tracer particles. These are 5 micron diameter mica flakes. Let's see what happens when we shake this container up with these particles in them. And you shake them up and the particles move all around. You can see that there's some bubbles in there. I'm shining a flashlight through the back side of it so that you can kind of see that there's bubbles, but there's no real structure involved in this. Now, here is 2 days later. This thing has sat quiescently in the environment here on Space Station for 2 days, and now let's take a peek at it. And again, I'm going to shine a flashlight from the back side. And look at that. Chain agglomerates forming. And these, the first order, look just about like the chain agglomerates that we saw in the bag of coffee and the bag of tea. But these are 5 micron diameter microflakes that have somehow moved around inside here and formed these chain agglomerates. And now, this was the beaker that had been sitting for about 4 weeks, for a whole month without being disturbed. But look at these agglomerates. Look at all of the pockets of agglomerates. And this is formed after a month of sitting. And again, these things look like some space telescope pictures from Hubble, if you ask me.